Good morning. It is Thanksgiving Eve, which makes this today the 25th of November. And we are looking at chapter 24 of Proverbs. We're going to start at verse 28. In verse 28 and 29, I guess we'll just do 28 first, says, "Do not testify against your neighbor without cause, or use your lips to deceive." So again, we come to the eighth commandment being expressed here as a proverb. Do not give false witness against thy neighbor. Notice the do not testify against your neighbor without cause. Even if you know your neighbor did something wrong, if there's not cause to testify, if he's not a threat to others, if there's not some justice which is being sought, if it's something you can overlook, probably overlook it, right? There's no cause. Sometimes certain crimes are charged and prosecuted, and sometimes certain crimes are not. And that may be a good thing. The kid is caught for shoplifting, he is reprimanded, the parents are called, and he receives some judgment. The items are returned. Maybe it's a good thing that he doesn't have to go to court. Or you could see similar times. You're speeding, the cop catches you, he gives you a warning, and you say thank you, and you move on your way. Here, God is definitely the one who does judgment. You are not the one who does judgment. And you don't want to go out of your way to seek to get your neighbors. I'm going to show them, I'm going to find things about them. Generally speaking, unless there's harm that could continue or restitution which needs to happen, you really don't want to take it to court. The second half, or use your lips to deceive, that's obvious. Don't lie. Tell the truth. Okay? 29. Do not say, I'll do to him just as he has done to me. I'll pay that man back for what he did. Jesus said, don't hate your neighbor or your enemy, love him, right? Turn the other cheek. And we're told that vengeance is God's, it's not ours. And here, this is the same thing. We forgive, we let go. There's this story, a missionary from Lutheran Bible Translators told my circuit pastors and some other people. He was doing a translation of the Bible for a village where they had daub huts. And in the daub huts, they'd take these sticks and they'd jam them into the wall. And each stick would represent a time when someone had done something to them that they found needed vengeance. So someone snubbed them, or someone forgot to give them a present, or insulted them, or whatever. They jammed the stick in, and when they got their revenge, they'd pull the stick out. And he was in these huts, and there were all these sticks jammed in the walls, kind of a constant burden upon the people, saying, you must go out and seek to do bad to your neighbor. Well, in the translation of the Bible of the word forgiveness, this missionary figured out that forgiveness could be translated as pulling the sticks all out of the wall. So there's no more of this weight of vengeance on the shoulders of the people of this village. They're unleashed from the necessity of guarding their pride and guarding their honor. They're unleashed to care for and love their neighbor. And it just improved their lives immensely. So here it says, don't seek to get vengeance. You don't need an eye for an eye. Release yourself from the burden. When someone does something evil to you, it doesn't have to be a chain on you, forcing you to do evil to him. 30. I went past the field of the sluggard, past the vineyard of the man who lacks judgment. Thorns had come up everywhere. The ground was covered with weeds, and the stone wall was in ruins. I applied my heart to what I observed and learned a lesson from what I saw. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a bandit, and scarcity like an armed man. You got to keep on top of things. This doesn't violate the ideas in Scripture that when the sun goes down, the day is ended and we take a rest. It doesn't violate Scripture that on the seventh day God rested and so man takes a break. But it does say that as the day begins, God has given you time and given you the ability to do things during the day. You got to get started. You got to get going. If you don't get going, you're going to get behind, and you're going to not be able to support yourself by your vocation. that God has given you. Here, the example is the field, grows up with weeds. The wall goes down so wild animals can come in and attack the crops. And so the man who doesn't stay with it, that curse that we're going to have to, grow goods by the sweat of the brow applies. And if you don't keep on top of things, things will overwhelm you. My wife would tell you this with laundry. She doesn't keep on top of the laundry, and she doesn't keep on top of the dusting, and she doesn't keep on top of making the beds, and it overwhelms. Same goes as a pastor. If you don't keep on top of your services, you don't keep on top of your visits, you don't keep on top of then they overwhelm you, right? And it applies to your families. So here it says, taking a break may feel like fun, and sometimes it's necessary, but don't take excessive breaks because it leads to poverty. 25. These are more Proverbs of Solomon, copied by the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah. So Hezekiah was a good king. The northern kingdom had been destroyed and Israel had come back. It was basically the tribes of Judah and Benjamin and, of course, the Levites. They had come back and they were living in the southern kingdom now. And Hezekiah wanted to renew the greatness of David's kingdom. And so he has a number of psalms that are copied, but he also has a number of wise sayings of the previous last king who ruled all of Israel, Solomon. And so they're copying here more Proverbs of Solomon, written down later into the book of Proverbs. So we go to verse 2, 25:2. It is the glory of God to conceal a matter, to search out a matter is the glory of kings. God has made the universe beyond our understanding, and it is in the great and vast and wonderful gifts of his creation that we see how powerful and wonderful God is. How does the sun work? Why is it cold in winter and warm in summer? How does aging work? How does healing work? All these things. Well, it is to God's glory that he has made this wonderful and vast universe beyond our comprehension that functions so well and through which we are so blessed. And then kings, as they discover, we think more of scientists today, but here it says the glory of kings. Kings have the time to do this thing and to make scholars, pay scholars to do these things, and they get the glory from what their scholars do, who discover the secrets that God has placed out there. This is great glory to them, and these discoveries lead to wonderful things in life. So it leads to our advances in science and things of that nature. We're going to stop there, and we'll continue with 25.3 in the next video.